Planning Commission meeting on March 19th. Can we do a roll call? Starting from the right, please. My right,
Paul Brakeman, present.
Pete Halleck, present.
Stuart Wooders, present.
Sarah Greslick, present.
Linda Novak, present.
And Jeremy Warner, present.
Welcome. And recognize Jeremy as one of our new commissioners. So I look forward to having Quincy Harrison join us next month. So, all right. So do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I will make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I will second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion to adopt the minutes from the last 2 minutes from January 15th and from the special meeting in February 5th. I know it's a long time ago. That's okay, you can abstain from this.
I have to abstain, I wasn't at the discussion.
That's fine.
I will make a motion to adopt the minutes as presented.
I will second.
Can we do one by one, is that right? So the first one, January 1st,
Yes, I will adopt the minutes from January 1st.
the January 15th, okay. All right, and you second that?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, none opposed. Okay, and then for the special meeting, any concerns or questions about the February 5th special meeting?
No.
Nope.
Thank you for
There's
summarizing.
one thing on that, but
Okay,
it
please.
shows me as present, and I don't.
Thank you.
I'm worried about that.
I was here in spirit.
We barely had quorum for that one, so.
Barely.
Thank you for also summarizing the public comments on that one. I appreciate that. Okay, can I get a motion to accept the minutes from the February 5th?
With correction.
With correction.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from February 5th with correction.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Actually, can the motion carry if there's only 3 of us? Okay. Because 2 abstaining? I was just, all right.
Okay,
My
I'm
ignorance.
here, I was voting, so.
Until you made that correction. Yeah,
Take these back, these.
There we go. All right. So
It's already through.
we'll move on to the official reports. Council liaison, do you have anything specific you would like to? Okay, thank you. I did want to report back from council. I don't know if any of you had a chance to watch the meeting, not last Monday, but the Monday before. They appreciated the hard work we did on the burn ordinance. They're moving it towards another reading. There were really good comments, and I'm not just saying that, but there were really good comments and additions and clarifications that the council actually would like to make. So those are going to go line item for the next agenda, but I think that they augment in the right way, clarify in the right way some of those some of the concerns that council might have had. So I appreciate working with them on that, as well as their input, and also they appreciate all the hard work we did, because it was more than what they asked for, and we felt strongly that we needed to give that level of detail. So I appreciate all that. They appreciate all that work, and I do too.
What would you say was the main thrust of the commentary?
Please, yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so most of the edits that came in were from me, and then David had a few as well, and so we just figured that it'd make more sense to go to Redline to incorporate both the feedback, but it was exactly what Stuart was saying, was still capturing the spirit of what you all were doing, just adding some clarifying things. So for instance, under bonfire, I added entertainment, under campfire, I included entertainment, clarified, I think the only thing that would be a substantive change, but still within the spirit of what you were going for, is there was a portion that said in order to do open burn, you have to be at least 18 years of age. I switched that to apply to the open burn of yard waste and bonfires. So a campfire, for instance, would be able to still have somebody under the age of 18. And then for a campfire, it said that it must include, well, I broke out what a bonfire and campfire are not. It was collapsed into a single requirement, and I broke it out so that there was one subsection that was specific to campfire or bonfire and one that was specific to campfire. And then under campfire, it said must be contained within metal or rocks, and I adjusted that to be metal, rocks, or stone for the inclusion of other hard surfaces that may contain the ring. So again, nothing that was real substantive changes, just kind of further clarifications.
Awesome.
And you'll get, when you look at the packet, it'll be redlined by Dana for a council meeting, and then you'll be able to review it at all the changes. So, commissioners, any report from the commissioners?
I guess I have one item that I think is significant. You know, we were off last month, and during that time, and I'd love to learn the latest information. Maybe Dana, you have more information on the sale of the bank. Anything new happen with the bank building at this point?
Not at this point. We don't have any further information right now.
Okay.
Hopefully, we're going to get some soon, but right now, we're still waiting.
So I guess a couple comments from the past. Oh, I would say 5 years ago, we negotiated with them to try and get the parking lot in the back, you know, at least connected to the, what is now the fitness center. And before that, maybe in 2011 or so, there was a really good parking study that a lot of people put a fair amount of time into. It's my personal feeling that it's a big opportunity to negotiate with new buyers in order to be able to do that, having that, you know, promenade all the way from 14 Mile to what has been called the Gray Dog, you know, the
Former farmhouse.
Right, former farmhouse, would be a wonderful thing. I know that there's there may be a few or one of the owners of the buildings along that strip that wouldn't be keen to that. But walkability they would be open to. They'd be okay with having a walkway all the way from 14 Mile down to the old farmhouse. I hope it's taken seriously, and you know, the right connections are made, the right discussions are had. You know, these are the times, these transitions are the times where things can happen, so.
Have you spoken with Main Street about this?
Not in a month or so,
Okay.
yeah,
I think it'd be good for someone to go to the Main Street meeting and,
it would be. I was actively, you know, I've gotten a little bit away from it, but I was actively in touch with Franklin Grill people, Franklin, and the Gray Dog people, and the building owner at 14 and Franklin Road. And I haven't been as involved, and I hope that other parties can step forward and maintain that, those connections and those discussions. I know Susan is good with that, and she does talk to them, and I know you guys are up on a lot of the stuff that happens there. But, you know, there's a part of me that would like to have us make a recommendation to council, some time put into that so that we can raise the attention and come up with some strategies that will get our merchants working together and help our village flourish and do some things so when we have vacancies, there are people who are clamoring to get into those vacant spots, you know, rather than having open spots that are kind of sitting. So.
Yeah.
Pete, I have a question for you. You
Yeah.
were talking about negotiating with whoever buys that building. Who is the owner of that building? It's not owned by the village of Franklin, is it? So
No.
how would we become involved in the negotiations?
Right.
Zoning.
I mean, Obviously, it's
Well,
delicate.
zoning, why?
Well, no, the zoning that it's in is the only way I can think of, because they can't really do much with it, and we can have it be, can't we rezone it for like quasi-public as well, that parking lot specifically, break up the lot?
Well, you can't really,
Only
zone a
if
piece
they
of
ask
property.
for a variance.
That was my question, that's why I
Or a
asked.
change,
Because like, if we can break,
yeah,
if it's talking about getting parking for the village, I know that, what is it, 3 rows behind the bank, like they have 5 rows there, you can use the first 2 rows for the bank, because I can tell you, they don't fill all those spots just for the
Right.
bank.
Right.
So we could easily negotiate, hey, the last 3 rows are for public use for.
Wouldn't it make more sense to approach the owners now than
I think
before
this
it's
For the,
leased?
yes, it'd be make more sense to approach the owners now to say, hey, we want to section it off by those 3
Is it for
rows.
lease as well as for sale?
My understanding is it's for sale. Yeah, Comerica owns the building.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
all right, well, I think this conversation is gonna be a little bit bigger than this, the update report, but I think that, it's a good opportunity for us to work with Main Street, as they're going through and talking, because whoever's gonna buy it is gonna be most likely a commercial entity.
Yeah.
And Pete, I was present when we talked about the parking study previously, and I know that President Goldberg was also present during those discussions. So you raised a really good point. Were you there? You were there too?
Yeah, I was there too.
So maybe we can resurrect some of this documentation and share it with Main Street. And so when the new owner is looking at it from a real estate opportunity, they can see what the village would be interested in, and that might be like you're saying, right?
How it can benefit them. You know,
Yeah,
it-
it'll benefit them, it'll
Yes.
benefit us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so, well, let's talk about who can take that on to talk to them about it, but make an assignment to do that.
Okay. The only other thing I have for Commissioner's report is I am seeing a lot of interest in the new Oyster Bar. People are wanting to open up quickly. I have my clients in Royal Oak coming to me and be like, I'm like, how do you even know about it? Like, must be doing some great marketing job. So people are really excited. So that's going to be a big bump.
They're doing a lot of social media.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big bump. I had somebody that works a different office in Birmingham, which is like, oh, when's it open? I was like, how do you even know I live in Franklin?
Because they watch these meetings.
They watch the meetings. So the Oyster Bar is going to be, it's going to bring a lot of traffic here this summer for
I
sure.
agree with you, because I'm getting calls from Upper Michigan wanting to know when they're gonna open, because they want to be there on the opening day.
Yeah,
Oh, that's really
So,
cool.
this is
I
great.
love hearing
yeah.
that.
So this all lines up with our master plan and trying to improve the commercial district downtown with bringing people into the village. So these are good points of discussion. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else from the commissioners? Do you want to introduce yourself as,
Do you know,
would you like to introduce yourself briefly, just to
Yeah, sure, we're doing that.
or unless Linda, I'll do Zoom.
A little bit, but, yeah, Jeremy Werner, moved into the village, in 21, 2 kids, 4 and 15 months, and, yeah, excited to try to help here.
Thank you, Jeremy. Linda, did you have another commissioner comment?
just for zoning.
Okay, yeah, we're going to zoning. So you're good for zoning now? Go ahead.
We had a zoning meeting last month, but it was kind of a non-meeting because it turned out that the people that had petitioned for a variance really didn't need one.
Yeah.
Has that been settled now?
Yes, he
Okay.
came in the very next day and proved that his driveway, he had taken up all the asphalt, so he was good to go.
Okay,
And
so
you will have a meeting next month.
we will, okay.
It was a permeable surface update they wanted, right?
Because
Yeah. They put
for some
gravel.
reason they thought it was asphalt, but he said, oh no, I took the asphalt out years ago. We said, then why are you here?
A lot of people put gravel on top of asphalt, so it's,
Put at, yeah.
yeah.
So,
Instead of taking it out.
anyway. Yeah,
Good, okay, good.
quick and easy.
I'm sorry?
Quick and easy.
Yeah, it was good. Communication update.
Nothing for me.
Nothing, okay, all right. Okay, budget and we'll move to the budget and expense report then. So we are 3/4 of the way through the year. And we're looks like we're still within budget. Targeted to, I don't know, well, do February, March look like we're going to, do we know yet?
They came in, actually got one today, got one, last Friday, so they weren't included in this one, but you're good.
We're still good. Okay,
You're good.
all right. Yeah, we were way under this year.
Is that Plant Moran too, does finance the budget for us and the actuals?
No, that's done in-house.
In-house.
Susan, yes.
So we don't have very many vendors for general expenses, so, I think the McKenna is generally our largest, budget item, and it all depends on the amount of, how many, and that's what, I was thinking.
This is Chris, our
This
planner.
is Chris, our
Charming
planner.
Chris.
Yes, so he's the expert plant from, with regards to planning information in village, and they do a lot of legwork for us, and so that's where that expense comes from. Okay. Any, all right, so no questions on the budget and expense report? Okay, public comments, we only have a member of council in the public right now, so, but I don't think he hasn't, I don't think he has, so we'll move on to the public hearing. So,
Do we need to approve the budget? Do we need a motion?
we're not, actually, no, because the budget is done by
I don't
council.
recall us ever
We're
doing
just, we're notified, we're being notified as to the,
If we're spending too much.
yeah,
We're not.
okay. So it is, all right, 7:16 or 7:17. And we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for wireless and small cell wireless and small cell wireless communication facility ordinance. And there's no one here from the public, it's just fortunate. I even got an email from the lawyers from Extenet about it, and I told them it was going on tonight, so I figured they might want to say something, but they're not here either, so.
You're in spirit.
They're here in spirit. Well, we'll watch it later. Okay. So then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing after a minute of time and move on to old business. So just for your edification, before we can recommend a ordinance to council, we have to do a public hearing on the ordinance, make sure that we're getting the input from our neighbors, and then we can provide feedback amongst ourselves, usually let them speak, and then we may answer some questions if they have direct questions, and then we'll do our discussion now in the old business after they had a chance to talk. So, Chris, would you mind just going over your
Right.
memo?
Well, the latest version, my cover letter is January 25th. And just to bring Jeremy up to date, this has been kicking around for several months. Was sort of brought about by a proposal from ExtendNet to install a small cell wireless communication facility on 13 Mile Road. And it became apparent that the village's regulations with regard to small cell wireless communications were inadequate and not in compliance with state law. And so we were asked to, the Planning Commission was asked to take a look at the regulations, which are in Chapter 1265 of the Village Code, and revise those regulations to bring them into compliance with state law. 1265 actually deals with two types of wireless communications facilities. The first part in these sets of regulations deals with what is most people think of as conventional cell towers, which the village of Franklin probably will never see. But we included here just to be comprehensive and to be consistent with state law. So if you look at page 1 of, I think it's on page 1. Let me turn the page. Yes, page 1. 1265.02, where it says wireless communications facilities. And under item A, it says, the following requirements shall apply to wireless communications equipment as addressed and defined in Section 514 of the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, Public Act 110 of 2006. So that's the state act that regulates those conventional cellular towers, the ones that are 120 feet or taller that you see all over the state. But the ones that are of more significance and probably more interest here in the village of Franklin are the small cell wireless communications facilities. And if you look on page 4, that's where those are addressed at the bottom of the page, 1265.03. And you'll see that it says there, this section sets forth regulations for small cell wireless communications facilities as addressed and defined in the Small Wireless Communications Facilities Deployment Act. So they're regulated by a completely different act. So we have to comply with a different set of regulations. Now, the Planning Commission has gone through this in excruciating detail over the past several months. And in January, there were 2 revisions that of our particular significance that are reflected here in the revised document, and they're shown on page 5, and I wanted to go over those. The first one deals with Village Review Authority. And based on the input from Wally Haley, who is the expert on this sort of communication law, and the input from the village attorney, we revised this to indicate that administrative review shall be required for 2 activities. One is proposals to construct, maintain, modify, operate, or replace utility poles in the right-of-way, provided that the utility pole shall not exceed 40 feet above ground level, and small cell wireless facilities shall not extend more than 5 feet above the utility pole or wireless support structure. So what that means, unfortunately, for the Planning Commission, I guess, is that the proposal from ExtendNet would be reviewed administratively because it's only a 40-foot pole and it's a 5-foot extension for the antenna. And the only case where it would come to the Planning Commission would be where they wanted to go over 40 feet or extend more than 5 feet above the utility pole. And that's addressed in item 2 there on the middle of page 5. In terms of review or approval procedures, item C, that was the other area that was changed based on the input we received from the attorneys. And the only one that was changed was item 1, where we dealt with administrative review applications. The attorneys felt that the previous version was not clear enough as to how administrative review applications would be handled. So we inserted that little chart there that's at the bottom of page 5 that outlines 5 steps that would take care of the administrative review procedures. So with that introduction, I'll take any questions you might have.
So I have a question actually, because it came up in council meeting. In the village, our bordered roads are owned wholly by our neighbors. So Inkster is Farmington Hills, the Telegraph is Bingham Farms, and 14 Mile is Bloomfield. township?
Well,
Yeah.
the mile roads are county. roads.
Or miles, but like, okay, but the easement, as far as right of way goes, because say Inkster is Farmington Hills, does it mean the right of way on Franklin, on someone's home in Franklin is actually the right of way of Farmington Hills, or is it Franklin right of
Well,
way?
it's, where the determining factor is where the boundary of the village is. So even though, the road is under the jurisdiction of, Farmington Hills, the key question is, does the boundary of the village go to the center of the road? I don't know.
Does not, no.
Does
I mean,
not?
No, well, the road is wholly in Farmington Hills, from my understanding.
Oh, okay.
Do you have,
Well,
Yeah, can I come up real quick? So I'll give two example. I'll use, on the Telegraph side, Bingham Farms has the right of way on the Franklin side. That's why there were sidewalks there. We have to contact them to clear out any brush and debris that's over those sidewalks. On Inkster, same thing applies. So if you go to Inkster right now, or you look at our last council meeting, we reviewed a permit, application for a permit of fiber optic that seemed to be running, and then it said pole. And what I was confused, and I raised the confusion of, are we approving a pole for a cell tower or fiber optics running? Because if it's the pole, can we move the pole across the road? I drove by there the other day. There is a pole there now. So what ended up happening is that they went to Farmington Hills, got the approval for the pole, and so then they only needed to get the permit to run the fiber optic cable from where it's currently located within Franklin to the Farmington Hills right of way where the pole is actually located.
I see.
which is
Yeah.
a neighbor, a Franklin neighbor's
Correct, yes.
property?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we had to deal with that issue. 'cause-
You only have jurisdiction within your boundaries, basically.
So the right of way is Farmington Hills, which means, which is why they didn't have to do a site plan review with us down Inkster. And the whole time we were thinking that all of these cell towers down Inkster were going in the
Farmington side.
the Farmington side of the golf course, which, okay,
So the right of way does extend into Franklin Village
Yes.
property?
if you own the property, the right of way is Farmington Hills during that. Does that mean that if there's sidewalks, they have to abide by Farmington Hills rules on clearing snow and
Yeah. the home-
Well,
the homeowner?
No, we
Well, I'm-
refused it.
if I understand
We've
correctly,
been fighting
the
that
the boundary
we've been
line for
fighting
the
that
village
for
is
about 4
actually
years now.
Okay.
We've been going to Farmington Hills for those meetings.
on the east side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sidewalk is actually in Farmington Hills.
If there was, right, so that means that the ordinance would apply to
Right,
them even though, okay, all right, okay.
On the plat maps, those right-of-ways show up on the Franklin properties. They don't show up as
Right.
being another entity. If you look at the plat maps, I mean, it shows up as either a 10-foot easement or,
Yeah, but the
A
right of way,
right-of-way,
but
but
the
it-
right of way is owned by whoever owns the road at that point. That's the challenge.
but it does not say on the plat maps right-of-way Farmington Hills. It just shows plat
Okay.
number and it's,
Well, I
Interesting.
bring it up because of that scenario you were
I
talking
don't know,
about.
would you?
I'll look into that.
Because, anyway, because I think that had more neighbors known that that was actually gonna be the case, then there would have been a lot more, concern than just 13 Mile, had they known that the Inkster, poles were actually gonna be on the Franklin side of Inkster.
right.
So, okay, anyway, I raised that, I know it's not, I know that's not pertinent to the ordinance itself, but it is pertinent in that, this ordinance will not cover that,
Right,
so. okay.
correct.
So any other comments about the ordinance? Questions?
Do we know the height, just out of curiosity, of the proposed, I guess, what is the height of a typical telephone pole? And do we know, is the height beyond 40 feet on the nodes that we were talking about recently?
Of the extend-net
Yeah,
holes, 40 feet, they're sticking within the 40 feet,
they were less.
yeah.
curious.
Any other questions? Okay. If there are no questions,
I will make a motion to present this to council with, as read.
with the recommendation to accept?
Correct.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, we'll do a vote for, making this with the motion on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, none opposed. All right, we'll send this to legal for review to, see if we can get it on council's agenda for next month. Thank you. All right, the, next, order of business is one of, a lot of people's favorites, and this is probably a record. Unless there's a village on the green activity going on, like music on the green, I don't think we've ever gotten out this early. Gotten out this early. I wouldn't say we're getting out early. I'm just saying getting out.
I do not remember getting out this
It's
early.
not
My
normal,
se-
Jeremy.
This is not normal. We're usually till like 10.
You should be doing more.
That's right.
Motion to adjourn.
Hey, something.
I'm sorry,
Motion to adjourn.
Jeremy. Do you want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.